Welcome back to Cinema Movie Reviews, guys. For those new to the channel, I release 3 new movies every single week of classics and new releases to make your streaming easier. And with that being said, onto the movie of today, and that is the crime action thriller Sicario. Directed by the talented Denis Villeneuve, Sicario is an absolute delight with 3 exceptionally talented actors and the amazing Roger Deakins behind the cinematography. The film follows Kate Mercer, an idealistic FBI agent trying to prevent drug trafficking at the border between Mexico and the US. When the violence in the war on drugs begins to escalate, Kate is enlisted by mysterious duo Matt Graver and Alejandro to join a government task force tasked with ending the war. So I love this film and there's a lot of positives to unpack here. In summary, Sicario just does everything a little bit better than every other movie in the crime drama genre. Not one thing, not a few things, literally everything in this movie is elite for the genre. Villeneuve and Deakins made it very clear in interviews that they didn't take any direct inspiration from other films while making this movie, but I believe that there can be parallels drawn to other dark crime movies like Drive and Heat. These films also have extremely heavy subject matter, great character development for the crime gangs, and also have gorgeous cinematography throughout. However, this is also somewhat unique for a crime thriller because it has a very strong female lead. Originally, Hollywood didn't want this to happen, and they were very vocal and told Villeneuve that it wouldn't make any money with a female lead and he had to change to a male lead. However, luckily, he stuck to his guns here, and the female-led film went on to receive great critical acclaim and also received 3 Oscar nominations. So what works in the film? I think I can break it down to 4 key points. The first one is pretty simple. It has a really good opening scene. This seems like a no-brainer for films that they should start with a good opening scene, but there are so many movies that take far too long to get to the point and just bore you and lose you within the first 15 minutes. Sicario doesn't do that at all, and instead it body slams you basically in the first scene. It's the raid of a drug den. It's very exciting, it's very thrilling, it's very action-packed, and it also gives you a lot of information about the film without them having to resort to heavy dialogue in a script. This way they can draw you into the film, communicating information very quickly and setting up the rest of the movie. The second of the 4 things here, it has an absolutely killer cast. The success of this movie is reliant on the acting performances of its big 3, Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin, and Benicio del Toro. Luckily, they're all world-class actors and their performances here are all spectacular. This talent combined with a well-written script leads to fleshed out characters that are multi-dimensional and seem very real. What I mean by this is the plot is very believable because the characters appear very flawed throughout. For example, Kate is clearly a fierce, intelligent FBI agent. She's your stereotypical hero for a crime drama. However, as the movie progresses, you get to see the more human side of her as she reveals that she's also vulnerable, damaged, and morally conflicted at times with the realities of her job. I feel that this reality in the script is what makes the film so dark, because you're able to empathize and put yourself in the shoes of the characters and their insecurities throughout this film. As a tail note to this sort of celebration of acting, it's worth noting that the supporting cast here is also filled out with some heavy hitters. Daniel Kaluuya and John Bernthal each have very small roles in this, but they're extremely talented actors and they do a great job once again. The third thing, stunning cinematography. I don't talk about cinematography that much, but there's a lot of artsy films with cinematographers who try too hard. They put pretentious cut scenes that go for 30 seconds or transitions between the scenes, and they don't add any value to the movie. Deakins, as one of Hollywood's best cinematographers, doesn't ever do that. And once again, the cinematography in this is beautiful. He gives you some great aerial shots, but also gives you some great point of view shots. So these are both informational, and then they also put you as the viewer in the scene. There's a lot of scenes of them riding around on jeeps and they have to go into Mexico in a very tense scene, and the cinematography makes it feel like you're in the scene with the characters. The fourth and final piece of this impressive puzzle is the script and the story. It feels stupid that I've taken so long to get to this here, but the writer Taylor Sheridan did a great job here. It's a strong crime drama with unclear alliances, confusing moral boundaries, and multi-layered characters. Part of the genius of the script is you get to navigate the story along with Kate. When she doesn't know something, you don't, and when she learns something, you begin to learn more about the other characters, their allegiances, and who you're supposed to be going for in this film. I would highlight that the end of the movie is really entertaining and it's great, but it's kind of irrelevant because the whole movie is fantastic. There are no lulls, you're never gonna get bored, there's lots of information being processed very quickly, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So what's the final verdict? I highly recommend Sicario to anyone who loves a good crime thriller. The only red flag of the movie is not very cheerful, with the script focused on violence and drug trafficking. But then again, if you're going to watch a crime drama, I wouldn't be expecting you to feel warm and fuzzy afterwards. Because of that, I give this a rating of 8 out of 10. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Did you love this like I did? Did you watch the sequel like I did? The sequel was very disappointing, but then I learned that it was because it had a different director and cinematographer, and it was more of a shoot 'em up. Wouldn't really recommend that. Do you think this is Denis Villeneuve's best film? Do you think I'm pronouncing his name correctly? I actually had to Google the pronunciation before this review. Let me know what you think, guys. That's it from me. If you like the video, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But until the next one, that's a wrap, and I'll see you then. Thanks, guys.